Welcome back. Once again, adventurers, let's play Chaos Head. In the last episode, Takumi fought a valiant duel against Genichi Narose, but the elder Gigalomaniac had the upper hand. As Takumi was heavily wounded and Genichi completely fresh and full of energy. But despite this, Takumi was able to fend off Genichi's constant assault and tried to save Rimi Sakihata and destroy Noah too. Unfortunately, in the case of the latter, Noah 2's manipulation of the dead spots means that no matter what he does, Takumi can't even get close to Noah 2, let alone actually physically damage it. Which means the only way open is to actually defeat Genichi Narose first and then find a way to destroy it afterwards. Unfortunately, Noah 2's Let Me Pass melody began playing, and Genichi has now resorted to using Noah 2 to unleash psychological warfare upon Takumi Nishijo, first by manipulating him into attempting to violate Rimi herself. But luckily, Takumi was able to break his own negative delusionary habits and free himself from Noah 2's diabolical influence. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Rimi Sakihata, who has now fallen under the influence of the diabolical mechanism in question. Yet another aspect of psychological warfare meant to destroy everything that Takumi holds dear. That single sentence filled the inside of my head with tar-black emotion. When I launched myself at her, oh dear. Please say that it isn't so. With mind-blowing momentum, a colossal stake burst up through the concrete floor. Its sharp point impaled me in the crotch, and probably more besides. I couldn't swallow what was happening. My legs hovered in the air. I couldn't run away even if I wanted to. The stake steadily ate its way into my body. Ghastly pain, but not enough to kill me. The stake continued extending, hoisting me up about a meter above the ground. If I stirred, pain shot through my crotch. I became incapable of movement. Yet another trap, courtesy of Genichi Narose. I wanted help. I sent pleading eyes down at Rimi below me. She walked over to Narose without taking a glance at me, and crouched down there with a thump as though worn out. Both Narose and Rimi watched me up here, me and my shame. They simply watched me expressionless. They didn't attempt to help me.
知っていますか？かつて拷問刑として串刺しは世界中のあちこちで用いられていました。
I'm well aware of the name Vlad Tepes, otherwise known as Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, there Genichi.
この拷問の特徴は死ぬまで3日ほどかかるということです。自らの体重によって徐々にその杭は体に食い込んでいく。ポイントは杭の先端はそれほど尖らせないことです。 それにより臓器を傷つけることがなくなり、死ぬまでの期間が延びるわけです。最終的に杭の先端が口や肩から突き破れば処刑は終了。見守っていてあげますよ。3日間。あなたが死ぬまでね。彼女も同じ考えのようですし。
You are a miserable bastard, you know that, Genichi? Rumi gave a little nod.
もっともその前に胸や腕の傷のせいで失血死に至る方が早いかもしれませんが。
Unfortunately, we're not in a position to do anything about any of this. This was a delusion, I told myself. A delusionary attack. In reality, I wasn't impaled on anything. I was still just standing still in front of Noah too. I was merely seeing an illusion, so I believed. I had to believe it. Unfortunately, the truth might not be so simple. 3 days, 72 hours, 4,320 minutes, 259,200 seconds. If I could tolerate that much, this delusion would come to an end, would have to end. It'd be so much easier if I could at least fall asleep or pass out, I thought to myself. But I couldn't. The pain wouldn't let me. That was precisely what made it torture. I go crazy if this continued. Even though a second ago I thought about enduring it, now in a shift I lapsed into despair. When I considered the vast quantity of time left before I died, every other emotion other than despair went rushing out of me. Just kill me. I wondered how much time had passed. There was no clock, so I didn't know what time it was. I wanted to see a clock, but if I did, the slowness of the clocks of the hand's progression would probably break my spirit. I think his spirit was already broken the moment Genichi manipulated Rimi into doing his bidding. I clenched my teeth together. Sweat trickled down all over me like a waterfall. We're definitely in the worst possible predicament. It made my throat go parched. Once in a while I moistened it by swallowing coughed up blood. Inside my body I felt the stake gradually push aside my viscera, burying itself deeper. I definitely felt it. It was a countdown toward death. With this it would finally surge up to my shredded chest. It would go further, skewering itself up in my neck. And it would break out through my mouth. I was going out of my mind with pain and fear. At intervals of about 5 minutes apart, I kept fainting and getting woken up by the pain. What I learned from it was that when I fainted, my body relaxed. In other words, the stake began eating into me faster. Naturally, the pain also increased beyond the point of comparison, and that pain would then rouse me. My trapped body would writhe in agony. I'd faint again to escape it. It was the worst of all vicious cycles, and it kept repeating. Really wishing that at least a few of the other gigglomaniacs would storm the castle and help the situation. Even when I opened my eyes, everything was a constant blur. For some reason, I felt like the pain had softened a little too. My sight was dim. I thought maybe it was night, but there were no windows in this dome, so that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, like a rat in the trap. I figured it was most likely because I'd lost too much blood. It was only a little bit, but blood went on trickling from my chest and my left arm. If more of this blood would drip out, maybe I'd be able to die peacefully of blood loss before I died from being impaled. When that occurred to me, I made an effort to swing around my left arm crushed from the elbow down. It's probably going to make things worse. It wouldn't move. The nerves in it surely died long ago. Yeah, Takumi's gradually losing his sanity. Completely and utterly. Is this really a delusion? When would it end? Well, if it's a real rooted delusion, then we're fucked. Completely and utterly. Was it really going to end? What had made me believe it was delusion in the first place? How did I know it was delusion? What if it were reality? After enduring it, I'd only die. There'd be no meaning in enduring it. But I was going to endure it anyway. How stupid. Moronic. I was an idiot. Or to die right away. I'd had enough of this pain. I'd had enough of the suffering. Bite your tongue off. Do it and things will come easier for you right off the bat. Let me go already. This is a delusion, isn't it? And also, come to think of it, we experienced these feelings before.
死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ痛い死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ死ぬ痛い死ぬ死ぬ
I think I understand what Genichi is doing. Yeah, remember that tangle of negativity that Takumi sensed when he had faced Shino Hazuki down at the Shibuya crossing? The negative emotions of everyone that was being manipulated by her and the other two Noah 2 porters? That negativity is what Noah 2 is harnessing right now. The amount of blood hemorrhaging from my chest increased. I was losing the ability to breathe. No matter how much I tried to suck in oxygen, my throat just made this dumbass sound, kind of like a faint whistling. When I looked down, I could see the stake peeking through the wound in my chest. I violently vomited blood. My mouth flapped open like a goldfish all the while as I sought oxygen. I was relieved at the prospect of dying soon. And Takumi has lost consciousness.
そろそろですね。
Norose's voice, his presence right in front of my nose. Of course, he still has one thing left to do. Harvest Takumi's code sample and process it into Noah 2. Then Noah 2 will become the ultimate artificial gigglomaniac with powers to reboot, reality even further. But I didn't see him. My eyes didn't reflect anything anymore. Because I've been impaled for such a long time, exposed to continual agony, I'd utterly forgotten that he and Remy even existed. I wondered if Remy was still nearby, not that it mattered. I was preoccupied with inhaling. For some time now, I've been spending all the strength in my body and every one of my nerves on that labor.
君が無事死ぬ前に彼女を始末しておきましょう。
I didn't quite get what he was saying. I couldn't afford to think about it. I think I know what it means. It means that he no longer has any use for Remy Sakihata.
私を殺すの？
へえ、そういうことです。遺言をどうぞ。
ごめん、タクのこと助けてあげられなかった。
So Remy being manipulated by Nerose was also a delusion. I heard Remy's dying wail, the sound of someone falling. He'd shot Remy to death, I'd thought. It didn't stir my emotions. I had other things to deal with. I went back to the work of breathing. And in the process I astounded myself. What meaning was there in this kind of thing? For what purpose was I frantically breathing? Wasn't this all far too much? Something hot trailed down my cheeks. I might have been crying, but I had no way to know for sure. With only a little bit left out of the 3 days I was supposed to withstand, I lost my reason for struggling and enduring and coming this far. Sorry, Remy. I'm the one who should apologize. I wasn't able to protect you. There was no longer any meaning in being alive. I released the tension in my body. The speed at which I sank lower, propelled by my weight, increased. The sensation of a foreign object in my throat. It was utterly impossible to breathe. Something was pushing up through me. And, lo and behold, we were actually, able to awaken from the nightmarish delusion. You almost had us, Genichi Narose. But, in the end, the only flaw in that was that it was so nightmarish. There was no choice but for it to be a delusion. Your nightmare was too perfect. But that is going to bring an end to this episode of Let's Play ChäoS Head, and when we return, adventurers, it's time to get round 2 started for real this time, because the fight's not over just yet. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.